welcome to At Home today. We're so glad that you could be with us. It's always nice when friends drop by. Today we're going to be sharing with you some interesting entrees because these entrees are all low in fat and low in calorie. We're trying to bring you another one of our series of Cooking Light, Eating Right, which I think everybody is kind of tuning into these days. I know around the studio here, everybody's talking about low fat this, low fat that, low fat or no fat pretzels. Let's get no fat this. And there's a lot of help out there. I've told you that before. There's lots of things that now they have taken the fats from, and it really is not that bad tasting, except one exception. I don't like the cream cheese. It doesn't taste like cream cheese because there's no cream in it, obviously. But anyway, there's a lot of good, healthy carbohydrates in your grains and your breads, and we've gone over this before. It's just important to cut back where you can. If you use whole milk, cut to 2%. If you use 2%, cut to 1%. If you use 1%, try half. And Dale, just for you, if you're using half, go skim. Now, I know you can do it. Some people don't like the way it makes your cereal look blue. That's what I've heard. But anyway, I think anytime you can cut back, it's really important to do so. And I think that it's healthier, it's better for your body, and you lose some pounds that you didn't expect to lose just by cutting back on those things. So today we're bringing you 3 main dishes. Now you won't have the accompanying dishes to go with it, but this will get you started on 3 main dishes to prepare for your family. They're not hard, they're not intricate, they're just healthy for your meals, okay? We always enjoy getting our letters from you folks out there. And this one comes from Puerto Rico. Imagine. So glad that you folks are watching there. It says, it's the first time that I saw your show. My daughter and me especially enjoyed your show because throughout it, you did it with lots of love. And may God bless you and your family. And this is a Miss Hernandez. Thank you so much, Puerto Rico. So nice to hear from you. And the other letter, this comes from Pattersonville, New York. Now you have to see this. This is a neat letter. Maybe we can get a real good shot of this here because I have to read it while you're looking at it. It says, Dear Cook, C-O-O-C-K, Dear Cook, I love you and I like the recipes and the recipes are good and I want God to keep making them. Oh, sorry, I want you to keep making them. Hard to read upside down. She's age 6, love, Tabitha. And look down here, Tabitha even drew a little picture. Isn't that neat? I love when kids write to At Home because, you know, 6 years old is not too young to get started in the kitchen. It's really important. This little one, her name is Tabitha, and Joan sent it in for her from Pattersonville, New York. Tabitha, thank you so much. It was so nice to receive your letter. Write to me again, okay? And we're going to keep recipes coming to you. Another one I want to talk about says, thank you very much, dear Arlene, thank you very much for the recipes. May our good Lord always bless you, your family, and the wonderful staff of At Home. Bless you abundantly. This is from a lady here in the Pittsburgh area. I just want to say that I do thank God for the staff that makes this all possible because without a team effort, guys behind the cameras and girls there too, and the technical people upstairs, it's never a one-man show. I tell them that all the time. If we don't work together, it's just like in your home. If you all don't work together, then you don't have peace. If everybody's working apart from one another, you can't have a togetherness or a unity. That's the way it is with this program. Everybody doing their part makes it happen. Well, today we're going to make it happen because today we're going to do those low-fat recipes and we're going to get started in just a minute. We'll be right back. See you in just a minute. Here's today's at-home hint. A touch of onion, freshly added to canned vegetables and soups, often disguises the canned taste.
If you have an at-home hint, a favorite recipe, or just a friendly greeting you'd like to share, we'd like to hear from you. Post it in the comments of this video or visit our Facebook page.
Now I have to tell you, they kid me about this all the time. You know, I always have my recipe. Linda Wilson tells everybody, oh, we have to increase this by 150%. Look how big this recipe is, so I can see it. Not really, I could see it, but they just don't trust me to see it well, so they make it so big that it would take somebody that really is having a sight problem not to see this. But anyway, today the first of our 3 entrees that are low in fats per serving and low in calories is a barbecued turkey tenderloins. And what you're going to do is take your baking dish. We've gone to Foodlands and they have a nice selection of, this is turkey breast tenderloin, because these are the pieces, look, there's absolutely no fat on these. And it's important just to layer them, single layer, into the dish, into your baking dish. This is so simple, it's like almost ridiculous for me to tell you that there's a recipe, because it's very easy and quite tasty. This is going to have a barbecued flavor. And anytime you do barbecue, you know that that's basically ketchup. You make it sweet, then you make it sour. And this sauce that we're going to make to put on this is very simple. I'm going to give you the ingredients so that everybody knows just what is in it. There's 2 tablespoons of water. Put that in a bowl. Next, we have 1/4 cup of cider vinegar. Remember, the cider vinegar, the basis for that is apple. You don't want the distilled or the white. You want the cider, because that gives such good flavor. Put that in your bowl. Then we're going to take, I believe it's 1/4 cup of ketchup, or ketchup, whichever you want to say. I often thought, how come they spell it sometimes K-A-T-S-U-P, and then the other ones say K-E-T-C-H-U-P? Because is it 2 different things? Good question. I really don't know. Whatever it is, it's red and it comes from tomatoes and it's in a jar. And Heinz makes good ones. Anyway, it's ketchup here. We're going to put 1/4 cup. All right. Next, we're going to add some 1/2 teaspoon of dry mustard. This stuff is potent. Don't get carried away with that. It's much stronger than the other. Here is some Worcestershire sauce. Did I do well on that, Linda? Linda always corrects me if I don't do it so good. Then we have 3 tablespoons of minced onion. That's very fine onion. And a clove of garlic. We're going to add that. Get all the little morsels out. My folks, my parents loved turkey. My dad really loved turkey. That was one of his favorites. And he would really, you could fix it any way, and he loved it. He liked the dark meat. My mother liked the white meat. I like the white meat, and Paul likes the dark meat. And so when we buy a turkey, we don't have a problem, because it gets eaten up, because everybody eats the part that they like the best. Now we're going to add, it says 1 to 2 drops of hot sauce. If you like it more, put more. If you don't like it at all, don't put any in. All right? Let's give a little shot of salt, not too much, and some pepper. And we're going to grind some fresh pepper there. I love the fresh. I always tell you that the fresh pepper gives it a better flavor than that stuff that's been sitting in a can for a while on your grocery shelf. All right, so now we're going to take, this looks like a little bit of sauce, but we're just going to pour this all over our turkey tenderloins. Now these are very, very, you see there's no fat on that, so these are very lean and very good for you, because anytime that you are cooking low fat, you have to trim all the visible fat from the meat, no matter what kind of meat it is. And with this turkey, you saw that there was no fat on this at all, because turkey is one of the leaner meats. But you still have to remember that there are some grams of fat in turkey. Now we're going to just put this into a 350-degree oven that has been preheated. Do not cover it. We don't want to cover it. But we do want to be sure that the sauce is all over the bottom of the dish. We're going to place that in our oven and let it go. I'm going to go ahead and set this for 15 minutes. All right, the next one that we're going to prepare is called stir-fried sesame pork with broccoli. This is a really good taste. This kind of has an oriental flavor to it. In my mind, anytime I use anything with sesame oil or sesame seeds, I kind of have an oriental flavor. It does to me anyway. Well, first of all, in this bowl, we're going to put some ingredients, which will be a can of chicken broth. This is just a regular sized can of chicken broth. This is going to make a broth that we will be putting into the drippings of the pan in just a few minutes. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. We have a tablespoon of soy sauce. And I'm going to mix that around. You want to use a whip to get all the little lumps out. Mix that cornstarch around. And then we're going to just stir in our green onions. That's about 4 green onions that have been sliced. We're going to set this aside because our pan's getting good and hot. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of oil. In the non-stick pan, again, you need to get one if you don't have one, if you're going to do low-fat cooking or any kind of low-calorie cooking, because many times that you don't even have to put anything in the pan. The pan itself will cook the ingredients and you don't have to have any added fat to it. So it's really worth the investment. All right, then we're going to do a clove of garlic, and that's going to flavor our pork because the meat that goes in this is a pork tenderloin. I have to tell you, turn this down a little bit. This is some of the leanest, most beautiful pieces of pork. You just trim all the visible fat that you possibly can off. And there wasn't much on this. Foodland has a nice selection over there. But look how nice and lean that is. This is just bite-sized bits. This is about 1 pound. And you've got the garlic in there. Now we're going to quickly fry up these pork cubes. And you know that they're cooked when you no longer see pink. And that should take 3 to 5 minutes, something like that. Maybe a little longer, depending on how high the heat is. Did you know that one of the things, if you're in a hurry and you really need to get stuff done fast, put your pan on the stove, put the fire under it, and get the utensil good and hot so that when you add your ingredients, they'll start to cook immediately. See, if I had not heated the pan, I'd have put the oil in and I'd have to wait for the oil. Put the garlic in, I'd have to wait for the garlic. This way, if I have the utensil good and hot, whatever I put in there will start to cook immediately, and then your cooking time cuts down a lot. So you see how they're already getting white. And I remember years ago, they used to make you cook pork forever, it seemed, because of the disease, the possibility of the disease that was in it. But it's not the case so much anymore. And I think they're finding, I think you still have to cook pork through thoroughly, but I don't think it has to be as long a period of time as they used to say. I remember my mother, which was a rare treat, when she'd make pork chops, it seemed like she'd start them at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It would seem to me. I'm sure she didn't, but she cooked and cooked and cooked and cooked them so that they would be sure to be well done. My dad liked meats, all kinds of meats, totally well done all the time. He did not like it to be, even the beef, he wanted it well done. Chicken, well done. You had to have everything well done for Dad. Now when this browns and it's doing beautifully, you can see, just keep moving it around the pan because it's important for it to cook quickly and to cook through. We're going to take the pork so we get them evenly browned. No more pink showing because we're going to cook them a little bit more later too. We're going to add our dressing that we made before, the broth and the green beans and the cornstarch. We're going to be adding that to this skillet, and we're going to stir fry our broccoli, which will be very easy to do. Okay, we're just about there. You smell that wonderful smell of the broccoli and, the pork and the garlic together. Now this is browned up. I'll make sure that there's no pink. That's how you can tell. There's no pink left. This is very high heat. And in any type of low-calorie or low-fat cooking, you always want to take off any of the fat that you can. So I have some paper towels in a bowl, and we're going to be putting these cubes into this bowl, and it will drain off any excess fat that may have, I don't know how it could though, because this meat is so lean. But it's important to do that because you want to cut as much fat out as you can out of your diet. It's amazing, for years everybody counted calories. Calories, don't go over this many calories. Now it's Okay, let's count the fats and forget about worrying about the calories. Right now, to these drippings, I'm just going to keep that there. We're going to go ahead and add, this is our cornstarch, remember? I'm going to pour that in there. Turn my gas down just a bit. And this is going to thicken up. Okay. And we're going to add the broccoli. Let me make sure stir that around. And we're going to put, this is about a bunch, a good sized bunch of broccoli that has all been cleaned and peeled and cut into bite-sized bits. You don't want great big chunks of broccoli because these should be in proportion to the cubes of meat. And we're going to let that come up to a boil, let that cook. Now, we're going to stir this and let it get going. Let's see here. Need to let that come up to a boil. After this comes up to a boil and it cooks, the broccoli is nice and tender, we're going to put the pork back into it, let it heat through thoroughly. That can be as much as 5 to 10 minutes if you need that. Keep that in mind when you do the broccoli, and you want to keep stirring it. When it's done, you're going to add the pimento at the same time you put the pork in, and when it's finished and you put it on the platter, you're going to sprinkle with some toasted sesame seeds. Just sprinkled over the top of it, about a tablespoon or two, whichever that you prefer. Next, I want to show you, while this is cooking, I'm going to walk away from this. We'll come back to it.
Do you love watching At Home with Arlene Williams? Then be sure to check out our new YouTube channel. It's filled with classic episodes from over 20 years of At Home, and more videos are added each day. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home.
The third entree that I want to show you is something that's very, very simple, and it is just a piece of ham. You say, Arlene, ham? You think that that's low fat? Well, this per serving has 5 grams of fat. That's pretty good, and only 154 calories. Now, if you're doing the 30 grams of fat per day program, you can see where this would be very good to have as a main course. Put a baked potato with it, put some fresh broccoli, some fresh asparagus or something. This is a very nice portion to have, and for that kind of fat content, which is only 5 grams. But we're going to put this on a broiler pan, but let me show you we're going to baste it with something first. And what we're basting with is, here is some Dijon mustard. This is about 1.5 tablespoons of Dijon. Sorry, 1.5 teaspoons of Dijon. And some orange marmalade. The thing that was hardest for me to get used to when I started counting the fat grams was that a lot of things that were no-nos before you could have, like jelly, like marmalade, because there's no fat in jellies. There's sugar, and you need to be careful of that, but there's no fat in them. Okay, and I just put some orange peel, some fresh orange peel, about 1/4 of a teaspoon. And this is cinnamon. We're going to add that to it, just about 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to mix this around. You've got your mustard, the orange marmalade, cinnamon, and your grated orange peel. Smells wonderful. Now, you'll want to put this on a broiler pan because we're going to broil it. So we've already taken the broiler pan from our oven. Of course, if you're doing this outside on a grill, it's a perfect thing for a grill. And we've cut all the obvious fat from the edge of it. We've scored it. So do you ever put a ham steak on and it starts curling up and it doesn't brown? You score it around the edge. Cut little slits every here and there the whole way around the ham slice. Place it on your broiler pan. And then we're just going to baste this wonderful marmalade and cinnamon and mustard. Those three seem to go together when it comes. You know, you have a mustard on your ham sandwich, so why not put it on when it's cooking? Just adds flavor to it. All right, we're going to put this, you're going to let it broil for a couple of minutes on this first side. You'll turn it over, let it broil on the second side after you have put the marmalade on. This is done in about 7 or 8 minutes because this is a piece of fully cooked ham. You don't want to buy ham unless it's fully cooked to do this with, because this is a quick supper. This is a quick meal. This is something to get to fast. So we'll be right back after this important message. And in fact, we're going to tell you how you can get these recipes today, and we're going to show you the finished product of all the entrees we've made in just a minute. We'll be right back.
Just go to ctvn.org/athome to get all the recipes from today's show for free. That's right, no subscriptions. They're available online at no cost, and more are being added each day. So join us at ctvn.org/athome to get today's recipes now.
Well, we're back, and I want to show you how to present these entrees that we've been doing today, these low-fat, no-fat entrees. And first of all, what we're going to do is come over with me. I want you to see this ham steak that looks so wonderful. We've broiled it on both sides, nice and tender. A little bit of the orange marmalade is still there as the glaze. Put that in our serving plate. I'm going to bring it over here, and you know, the appeal is in the eye. So you want to do something that will make it look appealing. And we've just taken a couple of slices of orange, and we're going to curl them and put a piece there. Put another piece on the other side. And it's important that we use fruits, like if there's oranges in the marmalade and in the dressing that goes on this piece of ham. So we're going to take some fruits to decorate it with, along with the orange slices. We're going to put some seedless red grapes just here and there, of a little cluster. And those would be good because there's no fat in any of this. Any fruits, for the most part, have very low or no fats at all. We're going to do that, and then we're going to cut this into our serving pieces. And I would suggest about a 6-ounce serving is 154 calories and 5.4 grams of fat. So I think this is a very decent type of low-fat meal. And let's face it, I didn't even think you could have ham and be on a low-fat, in keeping with the low-fat policy, but apparently you can. Don't make the serving pieces real large, just make them just nice. And my dad used to love the piece around the bone. He'd say, that's the most tender, you know. In any kind of meat, he'd say, that's the most tender. Make your serving pieces, and then make sure that if there's any little spills on the edge, you want to clean them up. And there's your presentation. I like a little green with that because I like parsley. Besides this being really good for you, I think it really perks up a dish. So let's put that over. That's our first entree. Now, we're going to do our broccoli and pork stir fry. And we've chosen a nice platter for this one. Nice oval platter. You can see that the pork has cooked. And here's our broccoli. Smells wonderful. We've added our pimento, put the pork back in after the broccoli had cooked, and spread that about on your platter so it's even. Some of the juices will be there. That will be all right, not a problem. What I would do here then is take our toasted sesame seeds, and we want to sprinkle them very gently. This seems like a lot. Just, you know, if you like a lot, put it on. If you don't, just don't use so many. But they give it a good nutty flavor. Then, because of the red pimento, I would take a couple of slices of red pepper, and we would just garnish with that over the top. And we'll put that out. Don't forget to put a nice serving spoon next to it because it's really important to do that. Let me put my fork with my ham. And the last one we made was the barbecued turkey tenderloins. They're still in the oven. We're going to bring those out when they're this hot. I don't think you need to worry about a garnish. I think you just need to present it at the table. Oh, that smells so good. And the turkey is very tender. I mean, it's very tender. They're falling apart. They're so tender. That's a quick and easy. You could do chicken like that. You could do like a really lean, thin pork chop, pour that over it. That is very, very tasty, and the smell, I wish you were here to enjoy with us. You know, if you have decided to cut down on calories, fats, or whatever, just give it a try. And you say, but I can't stay on any diet. Don't think of it as a diet. Think of it as a new way of eating. And there's no beginning and no end to it. It's just something you're going to get into, and you're going to do it for your health's sake and for your family's sake. I think that if you start training children at a young age, 5, 6, maybe even younger, to choose an apple instead of that cookie that's full of sugar, and you know, sometimes you're going to have to make that decision for them. Reward them with some celery or a big juicy piece of fruit rather than all those snacks that are so full of fats, calories, and sugar. Well, I don't mean to harp on it, but I think it's important for all of us to remember that. I know that in our home, not because Paul's happy about it, but sometimes I'm not either, but we're trying to do that. And we can see the change. So I would encourage you, give it a try. Get one of your girlfriends who you know is wanting to lose some weight or just wanting to get back into shape and say, let's do it together. Because if two of you do it together, when one's weak, the other one will be strong, and they'll encourage that one. And then when you're strong and she's weak, then you can encourage her. Make it a friendship thing. And you'll grow together, grow smaller together. Well, I hope you've enjoyed us today here at home. We've enjoyed doing the program. I hope that these recipes have given you some food for thought and that you'll try them. So be sure to join us the next time, because it just wouldn't be the same without you here at home. We'll see you then.
Don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home. Thank you for watching.
Fresh produce provided by Jordan Banana, wholesalers of fresh fruit and vegetables in Dravosburg, PA. Cookware provided by Woolies. Your favorite gourmet deserves the best for less from Woolly Balcony Cookware. Groceries provided by Foodland, where the answer is always yes. Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.